So this past weekend, IndyCar returned to the streets of Long Beach for the Long Beach Grand Prix, and what was a great weekend overall for racing. It was a great IndyCar race. We had some good racing with IMSA there this weekend and some GT racing. Overall, just a great event and a lot of fan support this weekend, which was a great thing to see overall. A lot of fans showed out and there was a lot of support this weekend for IndyCar, so that was great to see. Such a beautiful track that all the drivers want to win at, it being the second biggest event besides the Indy 500 and such an important date on the calendar. This was such a big event with a very competitive field and a lot of times that were very close, but one person in particular was really dominating this weekend, and that was Kyle Kirkwood. Kyle Kirkwood was just on point this weekend. Very fast, efficient as hell, and overall just had a great weekend. He got the pole. Great for him, honestly. As we kind of were looking for something different as we had this just domination from Alex Palou this season. So just hoping that someone could come out and possibly make a difference and finally be the first other winner than Palou this season. Kyle Kirkwood had just such an amazing day. We're going to get into that more. But just overall, I feel like it was a great race as we had two different strategies that we were looking at. We had the 2 and the 3-stop strategy. Because of the green alternates not working out so well, a lot of drivers were preferring to start on the hard tires. But some of them were just looking to get those green alternates out of the way, particularly Joseph Newgarden got those out immediately at like lap number 2. And many drivers were kind of following suit with that as they were kind of going into the pits very early to get those off because it just was not keeping pace compared to the hard tires, and just the longevity just wasn't working out. So overall, that were the two kind of strategies that we were seeing during this race. And just overall, I feel like it was a great day. I mean, we had a lot of competitive racing. We had quite a few overtakes. We didn't quite have as many battles for the lead, I guess, as you might want to see, but overall I felt like it was a pretty good event. Well, we had a day that was pretty much dominated by Kyle Kirkwood. Also had a few laps led by Stingray Robb and such. Overall, we had some pretty good battles in the middle of the pack, though. If you look throughout the field, you had some big movers throughout the day. You had some guys making some good battles. Overall, I just felt like it was pretty good racing. This was going to be a pit strategy race, so you weren't going to see a lot of crazy overtakes. Luckily, we had no cautions on the day too, which is also great. We've had the most caution-free start since 1970. So overall, I feel like the season has been pretty good for IndyCar. I know for some fans that want the chaos and shit, not going to happen right now. I feel like we have a very good field, so I don't know what you exactly want in terms of wanting this crazy shit, but you know, that's not what we're having in IndyCar right now, and I'm happy for that. I like a pit strategy race. I like seeing these kind of guys create these different situations in their head in these teams and seeing what they can kind of put together. It doesn't always have to be some crazy situation all the time. It was a good day for racing, I'd say, and overall just a great event. So to say that this race was completely boring, I think is kind of stupid in my eyes. And one of the big things to come from this too is finally having another different race winner, as Kyle Kirkwood just had pace all day, even in a part during the race where I thought Alex Palou might catch up to him, and Kyle was having to save a little bit, to fuel save a little bit and kind of help those tires a bit, but still it just lap after lap just keeping that pace and just able to pull away just a little bit. Just a really good day. But the thing to say against that is you have Kyle Kirkwood be this race winner. It's exciting, but Alex Palou is still second. On a quote-unquote bad day for Alex Palou, he still gets second in this race, which is insane. So the overall hunt for the championship still looking heavily in his favor. It may be an off day for him in terms of a race win, but in terms of the overall championship, he is still running strong for that. So I don't know who's really going to contest with him for that unless we have some big slip-ups. So some other good driver shoutouts on the day. Christian Lundgaard has been on an absolute tear over there at McLaren. Just really good so far. Second podium on the season. He was the best on the 3-stop strategy and gets another podium. It's just looking good and good after every single race. And honestly, it's to the point where he's so consistent, it may get to the point where people start to question, should he be the number one guy over there, with Pato O'Ward kind of being up and down at times. Pato O'Ward kind of struggling today at 13th. But Long Beach is probably his worst race in terms of the overall schedule, so it kind of remains to be seen. But overall, Christian Lundgaard, great start to the season so far. Felix Rosenqvist also had a good day in 4th. Used a lot of push to pass early, so didn't really have a lot of chances to move up at the end of the race, but still had a pretty good day overall over at Meyer Shank. Will Power, just another great points day at 5th after that first disastrous start, just kind of putting together the last couple of races. And Scott McLaughlin, who struggled at Thermal with a lot of different issues, has a really good day in 6th. Stingray Robb gets 9th, and Kiffin Simpson gets 10th. If something didn't have me more hyped in the weekend, it was that. That was absolutely insane. It was really good to see for two drivers that kind of get shit on a lot. Really good to see Stingray get 9th and Kiffin Simpson get 10th. And as many people dislike him, you gotta admit, he's pretty damn good at what he does. Santino Ferrucci is the biggest mover in this race as he goes from 27th all the way to 11th. And one of the biggest issues was Joseph Newgarden having that seatbelt issue. After running really well and running in the top 10, had a seatbelt issue that dropped him all the way to last. Just absolutely sucks for him. In terms of the production this weekend, I feel like it was a lot better than people made it out to be. The commentary team was pretty good. Got a few drivers' names wrong, which was pretty funny. But all you can really do is laugh at those situations. I mean, it's going to take time to kind of mesh together that commentary team. I feel like it's a very good trio there. And in terms of the overall production, I felt like the race was really good. The camera shots were great. I feel like it showed the beauty that is Long Beach and the track. I felt like it was pretty good. We got cars in the drivers' intros now. That's really great to see. I know someone in the YouTube community that's really happy to see that, I'm sure. It was great to see for myself, too. I love seeing it. Just the little improvements week by week. I think it's getting better. I'd say the only downside, the biggest downside to this entire weekend is we have yet again another 3-week gap until Barber and heading into the month of May. What's great after that is we have a pretty consistent schedule after that. But in terms of this 3-week gap, it is just brutal. It is brutal to see when I feel like we've had 3 races that are pretty damn good, but then you have to wait so long in between. And if we're trying to keep new fans, that's not a consistent way to keep people kind of dragging along. They need content. They need new things to look at. They need new races to watch. So I feel like if you're looking at this in the future for next year and the years after, fill in that gap better. We can't have 3-week gaps in between the first 3 races. It's absolutely ridiculous. Honestly, just fix that gap, and I feel like things are going to look up and up for IndyCar for a series that I would argue, and it may be a hot take, but I think it has the best damn racing product in the series right now. In terms of any series that you can look at in terms of racing, I think IndyCar is where it's at racing-wise in terms of an on-track product. I'm hoping with all this too, we're getting closer and closer to a point where we finally have competition with Ganassi and Penske in terms of that fight for the teams overall. I feel like McLaren is getting better and better, and I feel like Andretti is finally putting that fight that they always should have been putting up there with them. And then Meyer-Shank as well, showing that even though they have that 2-car lineup, it's still very strong. So I feel like the teams are getting closer and closer in competition, honestly, and it's really great to see. Overall, I felt that it was just a great weekend and a great weekend for IndyCar. I'd be interested to hear anyone's thoughts down below on just the IndyCar weekend or the race itself or the video itself. Any thoughts down below are always welcome, as always. Predictions for the next race. I feel like Scott McLaughlin is going to put together a great weekend, possibly even get that pole and just dominate. But will Alex Below fall off a bit? That's going to be the overall narrative I feel like we're going to follow this season in terms of the championship. And as we are heading finally into the month of May, the most exciting time on the IndyCar schedule. So really excited for that, really excited for the Oval Test next week. Hopefully going to get some content there. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I hope you all have the great rest of your day, great rest of the week, and we'll see you all at the next race.